Let's bring our friend Tone in.
Big sales, the man, the myth, the legend. Listen, if it means anything, if it means anything, I don't think you're a piece of shit.
Thank you. Oh my God. Hey, that matters to me because I respect and love you. And so that matters to me, okay?
Great.
You know, Tone, I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy on it because you know why?
Nah, that's all good, man.
I'm not gonna go personal on it like that. I mean, I think Trent Cole or anybody in our country has the right to believe in anything. Dude, if you want David Duke to be the president of the United States and you want to put him on your ballot as a write-in, you have every right to do that. The freedom of speech has just as much right for that guy as it does for you and me. And when you can't protect that guy, that's when you have a one-sided conversation and you're narrow-minded in your thinking process. The reason that you and I get along is because we have an open dialogue. By the way, you and I have it's funny. Folks, I don't think you understand where our relationship has come from.
Our relationship has truly evolved. Truly.
Totally. Tone didn't really like my reputation. Wasn't he didn't like me, but he only knew my reputation. Now, reputation sometimes doesn't fit the person because it's other people's and how they see you. But once you see for yourself what you're looking at, it changes your views and your thought process on things, and you go, shit, okay? And that's why I never get caught up into what a person says about someone, Tone. When someone goes like this to me, that guy's an asshole. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean I think he is. I want to know the guy before I call him an asshole.
Yeah, look, at face value, some of you guys might think I'm a smart ass, which is probably true. But
you are.
But if you get to know me, trust me, I love everybody, man. I want the best for everybody, truly. You know what I mean? I'm an easy person to talk to, I would think.
Can I tell you what controversial is?
Honesty.
Truth. People used to always say this to me. Sales, man, you're one of the most controversial sports talk hosts of all time. And I go, I've never went home putting a show together, sat up at night and go, hey, what could offend people? I never have ever in my life done that. Yeah. But what I did say is, hey, what's my opinion on this? What do you think this is? Hey, I'm going to have here this opinion on this. I didn't realize that an opinion is controversial. But see, even with a sports writer that you guys have in your town, that was offending enough to him to call me a worthless piece of shit without even knowing me. And I find that, it's not offensive to me. It used to bug me. Now I feel pity for him.
And guess what? He's entitled to his opinion.
Completely.
Because we're in America.
Absolutely. And that's why I don't get twisted. My aunt's probably on the floor right now, pissed off. Don't worry about it, Bet. Really, it's a nothing burger. All right.
Oh, man. All right, let's have some fun, man. Let's talk some football.
Let's go into this here. Tone, I think the Eagles need a new GM. I don't think they need a new head coach. I think that's low-hanging fruit.
It's funny you say that. Part of me says, I don't know if I'll go that far, but then part of me says, how can you, if someone says that, can I really argue with them? You know what I mean? It's Howie Roseman. I believe in sustainability, right? And consistency. And the one thing he's been consistent at is flopping on defensive draft picks. That's one thing he's consistent at. He can't draft DBs, can't draft linebackers, He really can't draft wideouts. Devontae Smith was ready-made. That was I'll be honest. If you really double back to that top 10 draft order, nobody really missed.
No.
Nobody really missed. You know what I mean?
Some people in that whole thing.
Right. Some people may say J.C. Horn because he can't stay healthy. Yep. Fair enough. Yep. But other than that, I mean, if you really go through all those picks, did anybody really, and I could be wrong, but for the most part, around that 8, 9, 10, 11 area, did anybody really miss?
No.
So,
and there was moving around between the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Right. The Cowboys got what they wanted, the Eagles got what they wanted, and neither of those teams missed.
Let me ask you this. So, you know what? We asked the question before, would you rather have Michael Parsons or Devontae Smith? Wait. Do let's do this with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Who do you think the Cowboys would rather have, Devontae Smith or Michael Parsons?
They'll probably say Michael Parsons. They'll probably. I think they would say that. I think they would say that.
I would
because
not.
because I think Michael Parsons added a whole other dimension to their defense they didn't have before.
But he evaporates.
I know.
That kid doesn't disappear.
I know, but again, I think they wouldn't say Devontae Smith is because at the time, and even now, they listen. I pay attention to them when they speak. They love CeeDee Lamb. They love him. They love.
How much better is CeeDee Lamb than Devontae?
I personally don't think he's that much better, if at all. I think CeeDee Lamb is in a great situation that optimizes his ability.
So if I put Devontae in a 1, and I put him in a 1 chair,
can you imagine Devontae in Houston?
139 catches, 1,500 yards every year.
Devontae would be insane with CJ Stroud.
How about you put him in Kansas City?
Oh man, that would be.
How'd you like to see that guy running routes for
with Andy Reid and all
Andy Reid?
That would be insane.
I think he would mirror Justin Jefferson numbers. What do you got? What do you got up there? What is that?
So we were talking about the Jalen Hurts numbers, right?
Hey, Tone, that passing chart shocked you, didn't it?
No, it actually didn't. Because I saw it. I watched every game. And I doubled back and I was saying to myself, they're not utilizing the whole field. And he's not seeing the field as clear. But listen to this. Let me break this down, right? So people, pay attention to the RPO numbers and the play action numbers, right? So listen to this, right? In 2022, Jalen Hurts had 460 pass attempts for 3,701 yards. He put up 1,100 passing yards in the RPO game, and he put up just over 1,000 yards in the play action game. He had 133 pass attempts in the play action. He had 122 pass attempts in the RPO. Now let's go to 2023. In 2023, on 538 attempts, about 78 more attempts, right? He put up 582 passing yards in the RPO on 116 attempts, which is a 32 attempt disparity between 2022 and 2023. In the play action game, he put up 81 attempts on 664 yards in 2023 in comparison to 133 attempts in 2022 and 1,000 passing yards. So let me just sum it all up for you, right? In 2022, 58% of Jalen Hurts' pass production came from the RPO and the play action combined. 58%. In 2023, only 29% of Jalen Hurts' pass production came from the RPO and the play action. 58% in 2022 to 29% in 2023.
They hired the wrong guy.
They literally cut, if the math says it, they literally cut his play action and RPO production in half. In half from 2022 to 2023. Let's take it a step further. And let's break it up. In 2022, 31% of Jalen Hurts' pass production came by way of the RPO. In 2023, only 15% of Jalen Hurts' passing production came from the RPO.
And
only 15%.
And if I'm a coordinator, then I start looking at tendencies and where you're going with it on the numbers, not into the middle of the field, not spreading the ball around. He spread the ball around more because of the RPO in 22. In 23, it was spread less, and he threw more.
The windows, yes. Here's the sad part about it. He had more attempts. He had more total attempts in 2023 than 2022, but he had significantly less RPO and play action attempts. You know what that also tells me? Beyond just what you were saying, right? It tells me that A, teams caught on to what they were doing and they didn't evolve, and B, the running game wasn't working. In order for the RPO and the play action to have any kind of success or sustainability, you have to have what? A running game. And they had no legitimate running game in 2023 in comparison to 2022. How do you have more attempts? How do you have more total attempts, but less RPO attempts and less play action attempts?
Because it's a fundamental decision.
They intentionally took away the RPO and play action game.
Which makes it what I said before you came on and you were behind saying it. Hurts, for what he did, is stunning.
Sensational.
Because, yes, sensational. Because they, every single, by week 10, 11 and 12, teams knew what was going on. When
Bingo.
Goddard went out, you're going to two people on the numbers, never across the middle of the field. It became, that's why guys were sitting at home calling offensive plays.
Exactly, because remember, Goddard got hurt in that Dallas game, the first one.
Yep.
The game right before the bye week.
Yep.
When Goddard got hurt, and you saw two games with the Chiefs and the Bills without Goddard, you saw how limited the passing game became. And then
how even AJ and his numbers in the second half of the season after Goddard's injury went down.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. They were skating by the skin of their teeth in that Chiefs and Bills game. They barely got by. Hurts had to put on the Superman cape. It all came to a head against the Niners, a team that was good enough at the time to be able to take advantage of the mistakes and the deficiencies. And that's when Nick Bosa came out and said, we had a playbook on them. We knew what they were doing, what they wouldn't.
And they're right.
And then that, coupled with the Goddard injury, coupled with the fact that they were cutting down on the RPOs, coupled with the fact that everybody knew what was going on, it lines up perfectly with the offensive decline.
Exactly. And here, now you go into more. Putting Jalen Hurts under center. Are they trying? Here, can I tell you what I think that means? You could take that down now, Tone.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
It's a great chart. Let me tell you what I think putting him back under center does. I think it's a decoy.
Okay, fill me in.
I think it's a decoy to let them think they may be going back to RPOing it and having some element. Because if I saw him under center versus how many times was he in shotgun last year? How many times was he in shotgun?
That's a good question. Okay, if I try to do some kind of math here.
You think it's over 70% he was in shotgun?
Right. So typically when you're in the RPO, you're in shotgun, right? So that would mean he was in shotgun. He had, that's a good question.
I didn't think he was in shotgun as much in 22.
He was in shotgun a lot. Like Jalen Hurts spends a lot of time in the shotgun. He spends a lot of time.
It's over 70%?
Yeah. I would say Jalen Hurts spends north of 70% of the time in the shotgun or in the pistol. He's hardly under center.
Okay, then what's the point of putting him under center?
That's a hell of a, to your point, right? The decoy, that's a hell of a trend buster to put him under center most of the time.
Yeah.
That will completely break your trend.
That's right. And you can still do the same shit. Okay? Right. Because to me, if I'm a defensive coordinator or a defender, I see a guy in shotgun, I'm already pinning my ears thinking it's third down. Right. And we're in nickel. Now, when you put him under center, linebackers have to scoot up a tad because there could be a run element here.
Okay, hold on, wait. I think I know where you're going with this. So follow me here. Are we both saying here that because they were so predictable in 2023 with what they were doing with the RPO? Because remember, although they ran an alignment
adjustment,
right? Although they ran less RPOs, we also have to take into account that the league caught on to what they were doing.
Yes.
So by putting him under center more,
yes,
that may not necessarily completely eliminate the RPO,
right?
But it adds another element for defense to account for that they believe that Nick Sirianni wasn't capable of installing.
Here's something else. It's almost like motion. You know how motion is sometimes a decoy when it comes to where you want to throw the ball? Putting a guy under center is also a decoy because what it does is you have to respect the run game. You just can't, when you're in shotgun tone and you're in that automatically, mentality-wise, here, think about what they did. When they were in shotgun last year, so you put him in shotgun, automatically I'm in nickel and I'm thinking pass. Well, as we started figuring out your trends, you're going to the numbers, you're not going to the middle of the field, and I'm going to blitz. The blitz volume was so high this year on the Eagles was because they knew when to blitz. They knew when he was in shotgun where he was going. They defended the numbers.
Wow.
Now, when you put him under center, the element of the RPO comes back in, even if you're not running it.
Look at this. Look at these blitz numbers right here. Give me 1 second. Because you're absolutely right when it comes to the blitz. They completely went right at him with the blitz.
And when they couldn't pick it up, all the things that they had been doing.
So look at this.
Completely.
Look at this. In 2022, Jalen Hurts was blitzed 172 times and hurried up 39 times. And he was hit 22 times and pressured 99 times. Oh, this is the key right here.
Yeah, it's the pressures.
The pressures.
Because the pressures lead to turnovers.
Right, because he was only blitzed 13 more times this year. They pretty much blitzed them at the same rate, right? But here's the thing, though. The pressures. That's the drastic difference. In 2022, he was pressured 99 times. In 2023, he was pressured 124 times. That tells me, literally, although he was getting blitzed at the same rate, in 2023, it was affecting him way more than in 2022.
I would dispute the 38 sacks in 22 to the 36. You know why? Those 23 stats, 36, that's pocket sacks.
Right.
In 22, that could just be him running in the sacks off the RPO.
Exactly. You can make an argument. You can make an argument he would have got sacked less.
Yes.
Because remember, when you're an RPO guy, when you're a guy that's dual threat,
you run into him sometimes.
You run into him.
Yards. If it's a -1 play, it's a sack.
Yeah, you hold the ball a lot. Sometimes when you're a guy like that, when you're dual threat, when you're like a Josh Allen and you're a Russell Wilson in his prime, and you hold the ball more because you make things happen after the fact. But again, those sack numbers aren't even really the main thing.
No,
it's those pressures.
So let me see that 124 also puts stress on your old line.
Exactly. That 124 tells me the O-line wasn't picking up the blitz as well. The running backs wasn't blocking for the blitz as well either. And Jalen Hurts was significantly more effective because he was blitzed. Listen, 172 versus 185 as far as blitz attempts, that's not a drastic difference. But when you look at the pressures, that's the difference right there. They didn't affect him as much last year. They affected him way more this year.
The number that impressed me the most, what you were talking about earlier with Rob, was the lack of production off the RPOs this year versus last year. That was the complete difference, Tone.
Exactly.
And his game this year.
Right. And the success with the RPO last year eliminated the pressures. But the lack of success with the RPO this year and not committing to it the way they did previously, and also teams picking up on it, led to more pressures getting through. So you're right. It's all about that RPO success.
So what's Kellen Moore's role?
I think it's exactly what you said, right? To build in some trend busters, because although they RPO'd less this year in comparison to 2022, I'm willing to argue the fact that teams caught up to it. And they remember, Nick kept saying it's the same offense. Brent Covey said it's the same offense. They didn't change anything. So yeah, they may have RPO'd less, but I'm willing to argue teams caught up to it even more.
They caught up by, you could see they caught by week 12.
Yes, you can see it.
They saw, hey, do you have that pass chart that you had earlier?
Sure do.
I want both of us to take a look at that from the 22 season and compare it to, I want to get your take on that, because let's start out with the 22 year.
Yep, this is the 22 year right here.
Look how wide open the field was.
Insane.
Look in the middle of the field. Had 127 QBR rating in the middle of the field. His quarterback rating was 127. Look at the numbers.
How accurate he was.
Over 100 quarterback rating on the numbers in the middle of the field, in the middle of the third, and over to the right, he was exceptional as well.
He was significantly more accurate in 2022, just all across the board. I mean, he was attacking you all over the field.
Look, if I'm a D coordinator here, I defend this. This is what I'm saying. Shit. Okay, backers, you can't cheat. You got to be up on the line because you got to defend that RPO. Okay?
Which leaves the middle of the field open over the top.
Absolutely. That's why in 22, weren't we saying this about AJ? Man, I'll tell you what, every time that guy catches the ball, he drags bodies. This guy's wide open.
The windows
wide open.
The windows last year were so much more open this year. Last year, also you also had a guy in Shane Steichen who was installing and designing the route concepts.
And think of this, you're not predictable here
at all. This is clear cut unpredictability.
And by the way, what these charts show you is also a non-opinion. This is what he was.
Right. This is not opinion. This is strictly fact.
Right. Now go to this year.
This is not opinion.
The entire middle of the field, except for short dump passes, was excluded from the passing attack.
Also, they weren't able to hit teams over the top as successful as they were last year. Teams caught on to what they were doing.
And get this, either the left number or the right number. And what I mean by that, folks, numbers on the field. Okay, when you see the numbers on the field, they were throwing to the numbers.
Right.
And that's what they did. The entire middle of the field was over the top, right, over the top, and they could not get big plays going, and you were predictable. You were either going Devontae or you were going to AJ, and that was it.
Yep. As a matter of fact, it's so funny. Goddard's injury, it's so easy to say, yeah, because he got hurt, the passing
made him more predictable.
It made him more predictable, but I'll take it a step further, right? Even when he was healthy, it wasn't that they weren't capable. It wasn't that they weren't capable. They were unwilling to figure out to get Dallas Goedert involved. And it became so bad that we began to say, hold on, wait. We talked about them being unwilling to get Goedert the ball. Are they even capable of finding a way to give him the ball? That was the thought process.
I think Goedert was the middle.
Right. Yes. I think in 2022,
Steichen did a better job of getting the ball to Goedert.
He did a better job of utilizing the tight ends. You saw guys making more of an impact like Jack Stoll and Grant Cockatoo. You saw guys that like Shane Steichen's ability to just utilize that entire field and get the ball in everyone's hands and really maximize Jalen Hurts' abilities was bar none. And you saw that this year with his ability. He turned Gardner Minshew into a Pro Bowler. Are we serious?
Right.
He turned Gardner Minshew into a Pro Bowler.
Tone, again, explain to me, though, how if you're the Eagles.
And they won 9 games.
How in the world are you looking at this and saying, okay, we just want to improve on this? This is not who he is. The 22 Hurts is who he is. And you want to get away from that. Dude, the further they get away from the 22 season, the more damage I think they're doing to the kids' development. I don't think you're hey, look, I'm not saying Moore's not a good coach. I'm just saying I don't like the direction.
You're skeptical. And
I don't like the direction.
Right. I totally get it. I totally understand it, because when you look at the numbers, you say to yourself, well, why would I want to build on 23 if that's clearly wasn't successful? I understand exactly what you're saying, right? I think the only reason I look at Kellen Moore as the only reason I'm optimistic is because of this fact. The league, whatever they were doing in 22, because remember, they were doing this, they were so-called calling the same plays. Whatever they were doing in 22 clearly didn't work in 2023. But they also
eliminated one part of it, completely eliminated the RPO.
And also, they didn't have a run game.
The run game, the
I
lack
think
of
I
RPO.
think it was more so the running game.
How about the combination of it?
It's fair. It's fair because they ran less RPOs and less play action. But also remember this, in order for all those plays to work, you got to have the running game. If you don't have a running game with your quarterback or your running backs, why would I respect your RPO and your play action? So I think I think regardless, no matter how we cut it, it always goes back to that running game.
Hurts' running game.
Yeah, both, because in the RPO you got to respect the running back and the quarterback.
And that's why Miles Sanders and the 2,000 yards between him and Hurts, that was, I mean, the threat alone.
The threat alone
was taken out of that game plan if I'm a defensive coordinator. I think the problem that they really had and ran into, Tone, was that they ran into all those DCs early on in the year. And systematically they picked away at it.
Slowly.
And they slowly got what they were thinking. And all of a sudden, the Eagles were so exposed, they couldn't pull their pants up.
Exactly. And the only reason they lasted as long as they did is because they were so talented on that side of the ball. The talent carried them to week 12. The scheme couldn't carry them beyond that. Because talent gets you, but listen, it's like real life. Talent gets you but so far.
Oh, absolutely.
At some point, you got to work hard. At some point, you got to hit the gym, right? At some point, you got to start eating healthy.
Yeah.
Talent gets you but so far.
That's right. And sometimes you got to eat your Wheaties too, man. It ain't just about going in the gym there. You got to eat your Wheaties and do the right thing. All of that shit, man.
Exactly. And talent got them to 10-1.
Here's something else here too that's part of this. You bring a great point up about all these guys that are being brought in here. So you bring all these guys in here and you're basically telling your head coach, you can't fix Hurts.
You know what they're saying also? They're saying, because remember, we talk about talent versus coaches, right? And you always use this analogy when it comes to the jockey and the horse. I don't care how fast your horse is. Who's riding him?
That's right.
Who's the jockey?
That's right.
And that's what we saw in comparison to 2022 and 2023. The Eagles had a better jockey in 2022.
I got that from Warren Buffett. And Buffett was talking about, because he does that NCAA tournament for his employees that they make these great. They make like hundreds and hundreds. Some people make millions of dollars on this NCAA tournament that they have for Berkshire, his company.
Mm-hmm.
And I go like this. I go, so when you're investing in a company, he goes, no. I don't invest in a company. Of course, you look at the numbers, you look at capital reserves, you look at this and that, look at a company's over or underachieving. He goes, I invest in people. He goes, never invest in the widget. Always invest in people. And he goes, when you have a great horse, you don't invest in the horse. The horse could take you so far. The horse doesn't know how to go to water sometimes. You invest in a jockey because he'll lead you to the water and lead you to the finish line.
And guess what? You ever seen those Fast and the Furious movies with Vin Diesel? You just see one of the most infamous lines from that franchise is when Dom was racing somebody and they said, man, you gonna race me in that kind of car? Dom looked at him and said, oh, it ain't the car. It's the driver.
Just like Maverick, man. Hey, it ain't the plane. It's the man and woman in the box.
Exactly. It ain't. Listen, you can have as much talent as you want, but who's driving that thing?
That's right.
Who's pushing them in the right direction?
Especially in the NFL when you have a coach like Andy. Look at Andy. That's why when people go like this, man, this thing's all Mahomes. No, it ain't. Andy's putting him in Andy. You know what Andy does for Mahomes? You know what a great play calling head coach does? He's great at designing pass routes, but you know what he does? He knows how to put guardrails.
It's a marriage.
Does this guy need this guardrail? Does this guy need these guardrails?
Because guess what?
And you let Patrick Mahomes play inside this guardrail.
I'm so glad you said that. And that's the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Josh Allen and McDermott.
Completely.
Because Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. See, Patrick Mahomes is just you got to think about Patrick Mahomes' skill set. He's a big ass just ball of just power, energy, everything.
Talent.
You need somebody, just a big ass ball of talent. You need somebody to refine that and focus that, so he doesn't just go off the charts. What's going on in or what was going on before Joe Brady took over. What was going on under Ken Dorsey? No offense, I know that's your guy. But what was going on was the fact that they were just letting Josh Allen just go off, just shoot. He needed to be a sniper, not a machine gun. And Andy Reid has converted Patrick Mahomes from a machine gun to a sniper. See, when Tyreek Hill was there, that was the machine gun Mahomes. After Tyreek Hill left, he had to turn him into a sniper. And that's exactly what Patrick Mahomes is right now. They need, in Philadelphia, they need to turn Jalen Hurts into a sniper. They got all that talent with that kid. Don't muzzle him, but focus him. And you need the right people in place to bring the best out of that guy.
All right, let me go here now. You think Haason Reddick holds out for training camp?
That's a good question because you know John brings this up all the time.
Would you?
You know, would I hold out?
Would you hold out if you wait now?
I got
4 years, double-digit sacks. You said it. I happen to agree with you. Now you talked me into it. I think there's a market for Jadeveon Clowney has never had a double-digit sack season in his entire career.
But he
was the number one overall pick. Okay,
and they keep paying him though.
And so there's a market for this. Okay, I'm gonna concede that. Aren't you in a good place if you got 50+ sacks in 4 years, and you're sitting there going like this, dude? If the Eagles don't want to pay me, it's really going to be all about where I land.
Right.
If it gives, because right now, here's what he has. He's underpaid in Philly. How they're going to use him is still yet to be determined.
Right.
And if he goes somewhere else, he may make more money.
But how would they use him?
But he could be in Carolina again, or something like that.
Yeah, or Arizona.
Where he's in a place has no chance to win. You know, do you take the money and do you go to a team where you have no shot at all at winning anything?
Tennessee or something?
Some shit like that, right? Something like that where you're not going to win. Okay? You take a chance because usually what happens, Tone, the teams with the big money and all the draft equity are the shitty teams that are getting ready to go into the draft. Usually you don't have like what the Eagles had last year, the 9th pick in the draft, and you're just coming off a Super Bowl. That's not how that works, you know?
Right. You raised a good question. Would I hold out? Holding out means I'm losing money. I'm losing checks. And I don't believe in losing money. I don't believe in burning it. So me personally, although I'm still in the middle of my negotiations, I feel like it's imperative for me, if I'm Haason Reddick, if I'm him, it would be imperative for me to come in, be a professional. See, John brought it up, and it was very smart. He said, Haason Reddick isn't the type to hold out, but he definitely thought he would hold in. And what he mean by that is show up, go to your meetings, all that kind of stuff, but don't practice.
Here's what I think happens. It's being reported the Cowboys are going to address Michael Parsons this offseason.
That would be smart to get ahead of it because that number is going to jump. Okay. They're smart if they get ahead of it now. So you're right.
We're going to take a look at that number. What in this offseason? Hey, can you double check that? Because I heard that the Cowboys are going to address that. And they've got to decide if they're going to pay him. And they got Dak that they have to deal with after this year, too. So they've got CD. They've got, because I think this is his what year now?
So this is what just came out within the past week. It says, and this is from Michael Parsons. He basically said he won't rush contract. He said he won't rush the contract process. CeeDee Lamb is the priority right now. That's basically what he said.
Smart. That's smart, but that's not what's going on.
Yes. Here's the exact quote. He says, I know they got to get CeeDee Lamb done. I think that's the priority right now. See, words matter.
Yeah.
He didn't say that's what he thinks the priority should be. He said that's what he thinks it is. So he says, I know they got to get CeeDee Lamb done. I think that's the priority right now. What's meant for me is meant for me. I'm not going to rush the process. I'm going to just enjoy the process and keep working until it's time. In other words, okay, you prioritize what you want to prioritize, but just know I ain't cutting no shorts. The price is going up every single time you wait. That's what I'm hearing.
Tone, go on your metric that you use for market value. What's the market value for Parsons?
Let me see if I can find it because they don't have it up for every guy. But
okay, it might not be then for him.
You're right. Let me see because
his deal, he's still, I think, got another year, but they want to address this because they can't pay everybody in 1 year. Tone.
Okay, they have it up for him. Woo! Hold up. Oh man.
So wait, everyone, before he says it, this is why this whole conversation, Tone, is coming to a point where the agent for Haason got out in front of this along with the Eagles because the Cowboys, folks, here's the number for Michael Parsons.
My God.
4 years, 101.9.
Oh my God. His average salary right now is $4.2 million. He's going to get a $20 million raise, $21 million raise. That's estimated. But again, remember, that's just what they estimate. That's what they think. It might be more than that.
That's because the cap will go up.
The cap's going to go up. You never know what the market's going to look like. Also, you got to factor in what those other guys are getting paid, like Myles Garrett, TJ Watt.
How many teams do you think would pay that?
A lot. I think 20? A lot of teams would pay that. I think a lot of teams would pay that.
Plus 20 teams?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because Micah's versatile. Micah's versatile. And again, here's another thing. If you got Nick Bosa making $30 million, I think Nick Bosa makes about 30. You got Myles Garrett and those guys making like 26, 27, all around there.
Chris Jones makes 28.9.
You want to hear something crazy? Chris Jones actually in 2023 only made 19.5 million. His estimated market value is like 28.
Yeah,
27.
28.9. So if you're Haason Reddick and you see this, okay. So you don't think I'm Micah Parsons, Sills. Surely I'm 18 million. Surely, Tone, I'm 20. Aren't I, Howie?
Well, we're going to find out. Look at this. Watch this. We're going to find out. These are the average salaries. 2024 for edge rushers.
Oh, my God. Bose is 34.
Oh, it's more
Watt,
than I thought.
28. Joey Bosa makes 27 million.
He robbed them. Word is he's on the trade block.
Montez Sweat makes 24. Washington traded that. Gary makes 24. Khalil Mack on his third or fourth team makes 23. Harold Landry. Hold on. Alex Highsmith, the other guy. You know that movie, The Other Guys? I happen to love it. It's one of my favorites. I love that movie. Alex Smith is the other guy, and he makes more than Haason Reddick. You think there's that distinction with Reddick because he's been cut? And you think that he's been on multiple teams that plays into it?
You want to know the difference between Haason Reddick and all these guys? I'm gonna tell you the difference.
First rounders.
No, not even that. Alex Highsmith wasn't a first rounder at all. You want to know the difference? Haason Reddick is 6'1", 240. Listen to this. Landry, 6'2", 252. Draymond Jones, 6'3", 281. Eric Armstead, 6'7", 290. Danielle Hunter, 6'5", 263. Alex Highsmith, 6'4", 242. Shaq Barrett, 6'2", 250. Cam Hayward, 6'5", 295. Emmanuel Ogba, 6'4", 275. Zach Allen, 6'5", 285. Carl Lawson, 6'2", 265.
Tone, I'll tell you something here.
Size matters, baby. Don't let her tell. Don't
listen.
Don't let her tell you different.
hey. Very good. Hey, listen. I'm not kidding you. I used to tell people this. You know, and that goes into your size matters. You see this right here, Tone? Right here, about an inch. That was the difference between me making $3.5 million versus $2.5 million. If I was 1 inch taller, instead of being 6'1.5", and I was 6'2.5", I'd have made another $1 million. If Jerome was 1 more inch taller, Jerome would have made another $1.5 million from the Eagles when he signed.
And this is the NFL. They're not weighing these guys and measuring these guys for no reason. They're not doing it for their health. They're doing it so they can decide how much they're going to pay you.
It's true.
Seriously, you just said it yourself. There are guys that lose money because of height, weight.
You get drafted. You get drafted in a different round
because of your height.
Because of your height.
I'll put you this way:
if Cam Jurgens was 6'4", he'd have been a first rounder.
If Nakobe Dean was 6'1", he would have been a first rounder. Devin Lloyd is like 6'2", 6'3". And they were comparing those two all year in the draft. Remember that?
Yep. No, that's the metric on draft day. You're right. You're not drafting a 5'11". Hey, how many 5'11" linebackers have you ever seen go in the first round?
I can't think of one.
Denzel Perriman's been playing. You know, Denzel's my boy. He's a UM kid. I think he's going into his 10th year. And he's like he's like 5'10".
Right. And look, I don't know exactly what Haason's looking for, but based off his production, he's if I'm guessing, I think he's looking to be in.
You think he's in a good place?
What do you mean good place?
When I look at these numbers here, go to the top.
He's not in this category. He's not in this category.
Hang on.
He's not in this category.
Hold on. How many sacks does he have in the last 4 years?
In the last 4 years?
Yeah.
Give me one moment here. So in the last 4 years, Haason
regular
Reddick,
season only.
Got you. Regular season only. Give me one moment here. So he had 12.5 that final year in Arizona. He had 11 in Carolina. He had 16 in Philly. He had 11 the second year in Philly. He has 50.5 sacks in the past 4 years.
Okay.
That's an average of, divided by 4, that's an average of 12.5 sacks a season over the past 4 years.
Okay. Bosa and Watt, he's not in there. You think Joey Bosa's been more productive than him?
I think Joey Bosa's overpaid, overrated, and never healthy.
But he has to see that too. Now, obviously, he's not Garrett. You think Montez Sweat has been more productive than Haason Reddick has been in the last 4 years?
I'm not entirely sure. Sills, can you give me 30 seconds? I got to let this maintenance guy in. Can you give me 30 seconds?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all good. No, the point I'm making, folks, is that Reddick may be in a better position now than I thought he was in because of the amount of production. He's got 50.5 sacks in 4 years. And Micah Parsons' number is $25+ million when his contract is going to be negotiated by Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. So Yale, he's got to look at it like this with his people. Hey, man, why aren't I in the conversation? And I could make the argument that he's the most underpaid guy, right? I agree with you, Chris. I don't think Mac is as productive, and he makes a killing. Now, I'm with you on that. Yeah, the one-dimension thing bugs me too. I think he's a liability on the field, and I've been saying this, that I think he's a liability on the field. I totally agree with you on that. But the money for a pass rusher just like for a corner, you could see some of these guys. I mean, look, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa. He's not in that conversation, obviously. Okay? He's not 30. I don't believe. How old is he? How old is Reddick? Reddick's not 32. I thought he was 28, if I'm not mistaken. That's not awful. I thought he was 28. Flexen says he had a solid year this past season. Now, remember, too, Flexen, he started the year out when he was in the cast, and then the new defensive coordinator came in and completely screwed up on how to use him. Max 32. Haason's turning 30. Well, we're starting to get up there to where you start to hedge. And when you look at his market value, Khalil Mack Sills is 32. Whew. Yeah, man. He's on the back end of that contract for sure. So Haason's 29. Okay.
Sorry about that, Sills. I appreciate it, man.
All good, brother. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
But when you look at that list, Tone, shit, half that list, he's produced more than those dudes. Now, I keep going back to the limitations that he has in his game. Look, he's not in Garrett's league. I mean, Montez Sweat, I don't know. I mean, Gary, I think he's as productive as Gary.
I hear you.
He's better.
I listen.
On the back nine.
I totally agree. Like when you look at the numbers, especially over the past 4 years, you see clearly, Haason Reddick has produced as much as these guys, if not more. He's the only edge rusher outside of Myles Garrett to have back-to-back seasons, 4 years in a row of double-digit sacks. And no other edge rusher has done that outside of Myles Garrett. So only 2 guys have done that. So if you're Haason Reddick's team, you're saying to yourself, I don't understand why I can't get this money. But I was talking to John McMullen about it, and one of the things he said to me was, look, although Haason Reddick has been extremely successful and extremely productive, more productive than most of these guys, these teams are paying you not off what you've done. They're paying you off what they think you're going to do. And an undersized edge rusher doesn't age well in the NFL because he relies so much on speed. They look at it as your speed's going to go before your power goes. Myles Garrett has great.
He's a pretty athletic guy, though, man.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But you know, you look at those guys like Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, TJ Watt, all those guys. They have great speed to power to speed. They have the bull rush. They're very dynamic. Haason, he has a plethora of moves. He has a lot of moves, but that speed and you're undersized. How long does speed last in the league? Or quickness. So I think Haason deserves to get paid, but I don't think the Eagles are looking at him as this 24, 23, not even a $22 million guy.
How about a $20 million?
It's possible. It's entirely possible.
You know, now that I'm looking at these numbers, would you not agree the top 15 players in the league are making as an average 22? I mean, look at the numbers.
You know what? That's a good point.
The first time you get out of the 20 million is on the 11th spot.
Yes. Yeah.
And it stays at 17s, high 17s. So by the time you get to 15, if you put all the numbers and an average together, it's about $23 million.
Yeah. And also listen to this, right?
So he's got to look at that and go, why aren't I in there?
Now, you see Trey Hendrickson, right?
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson just got paid from Cincinnati. He just got a big contract from Cincinnati, right?
He's a young dude, though.
He's currently 29 years old.
Oh, okay.
Trey Hendrickson 29 years old now.
So this must be a second deal.
Yes, he was with New Orleans at first.
Right.
Now listen to this. Over the past 4 seasons, because Trey Hendrickson is the cutoff for 21 million. Von Miller got 20, but I'm not even going to talk about him because he's aging out. But Trey Hendrickson, right? Over the past 4 seasons, he gave you 13.5 sacks in 2020. In 2021, gave you 14 sacks. In 2022, he gave you 8 sacks. But then in 2023, he gave you 17.5. So that's 53 sacks over the course of 4 years compared to Haason's 50.5. So not a big difference.
Not horrible.
Not a horrible difference. Trey Henderson and Haason Reddick have produced the same. So if I'm Haason Reddick's team, I'm saying, hold on. Trey Henderson got 21 million. Von Miller, where has he been the past couple seasons?
Hear this one. Check this out. Did Khalil Mack have 17 sacks at 32 last year?
Khalil Mack is he's not human. He's going to the
Did
Hall
he
of
have
Fame.
32 sacks?
Listen to this.
I mean, he had 17 sacks and 56 pressures last year at 32.
Khalil Mack had a career year last year. He had 17 sacks in 2023.
Okay.
17
So,
sacks.
Tone, follow me here with this.
He's aging back. He's aging backwards. That's
tell
crazy.
me this. Okay, so this is my team. I'm pretending that I'm Haason Reddick's team.
Okay.
Okay. We got a 32-year-old guy who just probably led the league or was one of the top leaders in the league in sacks at 17. He's 32. My guy's 29. That guy is, how much is Khalil making? Khalil's in the top 10 for sure. He's up on that list like around what, 23 million?
Khalil's making 23.5. Yep.
Okay, he's 23.5. Right now, my guy's making $15 million and has done just as much as Trey Hendrickson, has done just as much as Khalil Mack, has done just as much as any of those top 10 guys. Why aren't I in a – I'll tell you, I'm talking myself more into that it's a tougher decision. Why would you allow him, though, Tone? If he's that much of a commodity, why are you allowing him to test the market?
Here's the difference. And again, I know it sounds redundant. Khalil Mack, 6'3", 269.
16 sacks is 16 sacks, though, Tone, whether you're 5'1" or 6'1" or 7'1".
I hear you.
You're not wrong. I know how that – it's a metric that matters.
Yeah. So, like I think Haason Reddick deserves to get paid. How much is the question, right? I think a fair number, because remember you were talking about 12, 13.
Dude, absolutely nothing. You guys over here and I'm way off. Okay?
He might,
but Tone, he's limited, man, and is like if he's in the wrong system, he's not.
And I think that's the difference between him and a lot of the guys that we're talking about in that big money category. You put them in any situation.
That's right. Myles Garrett, you could put him on the Tennessee Titans and he's going to be an impact.
Right.
I think if you put Haason Reddick in Tennessee, I think it's just 12 sacks of nothing.
Remember, the first few years with Haason Reddick, he couldn't get production because they weren't using him right. It wasn't until they changed. Who was the Arizona Cardinals coordinator in 2020? Who was their defensive coordinator?
Head coach there
in 2020?
Was it the coach in Tampa? Todd Bowles? Well, no, it was Kingsbury.
In 2020, it was Vance Joseph.
The guy is in Denver now.
Now, here's the thing. Vance Joseph was their DC in 2019 and 2020. So it took Vance Joseph about a season to figure out how to use Haason Reddick.
But they have come out publicly since saying we screwed that up.
Yes, they have. And ever since then, ever since he's been getting used right, because remember, he got traded to Carolina. And I don't know what defense Carolina was running, but one thing I do know, they had him rushing.
He was going to have a good time with Matt Rule because Rule coached him in college, I think.
Who was the DC in Carolina that year in 2021?
Shit, man. Had to have a lot of Ron Rivera. Was Rivera? No, he was in DC.
The Carolina Panthers DC was...
I don't remember who the DC was.
Some guy named Phil Snow.
Okay. No idea.
No idea who he is. But that was Rivera. Rivera was in
Rivera's
Washington.
In DC then.
Yeah. So, but the head coach was Rule, right?
Yeah.
Haason Reddick was still productive in that system. See, this is what bodes in Haason's favor, no matter how you slice it. He was in three different defenses, and he was still productive. He can sell that if that's his team. Because the Eagles might say, well, it depends on what system you're in. And their retort can be, well, I played for 3 different teams in 4 years. And I got double-digit sacks every single time. So what are you talking about? That's their retort. I think Haason Reddick, I think in all fairness, he might be, because look, here's another thing to keep in mind as well. It's 20 million and then it drops off to 17.5. So there's a gap between 17.5.
That's still more than he's making.
Could he be a $19 million guy? 18? Because remember, 17 point, it goes from, in terms of the ranking and income, 17.5 is the 12th ranked highest paid edge rusher. And then Von Miller jumps to 20. Could he be in between 17 and 20? Is that a fair number? Could he be an $18 million guy? 19?
How many years you giving him?
When the new contract takes effect, he'll be 31. So that means 3 years beyond 31.
Hey,
so are you paying
put
the money up front? So basically do what they did before. Put the money up front and deal with the cap ramifications on the back end.
And go and have the base go down.
But if they put the money up front, the base has to go up.
I want the signing bonus.
So you got to give them more money up front.
Yeah, so I can't have a 32, 33-year-old guy giving me 4 sacks with a salary cap implication of $24 million at the back end of that. And that's dead cap. I can't.
So should they front with the contract? Put the cap hits up front. Money. Put the cap hits up front then? Because
because you're going to get more. That's the problem with this. Because you've got to figure, hey, the only way you fix this is give him a bag of money, lower his number. That's the only way you do this, Tone.
That's the only way. Because they can't go into the season with him having a $21.5 million cap hit. His cap hit is bigger than the quarterback's. That's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow.
And they need to free up money for the linebacker and safety position.
Yeah.
All right, finally here.
Yes. That was a fun conversation.
Dude, I have no interest in this Eddie Johnson dude.
Neither do I. You heard me earlier, right?
No, I didn't hear you. I have no interest in another old fogey.
I have no interest in him. None whatsoever.
You see, automatically people see a tie-in with some shit, and I go like this.
He's 30.
So he's going to be 31 in December. You're going to pay a guy who's an old dude.
And he's also had multiple foot injuries in the same foot. In the past 2 seasons, he's only been healthy enough to play 12 games.
I have no interest in this.
I'm gonna have no interest in that.
None. I have none of this, man. I want to get younger and better.
Over the past 2 seasons, he's missed 10 games.
I have no interest in this.
I'm cool off that. I don't want it.
You hear people going like this, hey, this, and they're going like this. I go, when was he all pro? That's 6 years ago. I'm like, I have no interest in that with an old guy.
That's a Kevin Byard situation all over again. That's exactly what that is.
Hey, all I can tell you is them Georgia dudes better step up.
Big time. Big time, Big Sills.
If those Georgia guys don't step up, I'm redefining Howie Roseman's roles.
He's going back to the broom closet.
Hey, you bet, man. And get this. This time, he's going to be getting Krellers, and he's going to be getting hot cocoa. He's going to be getting lattes. This guy ain't going to be working around the personnel side of this thing. You know, he's going to be working with the index card. You know, when you go to the library and you're like this, yeah, CPA books over on aisle 3. Okay, next to the maps. That's the only place I got his ass because he's brilliant at that.
Brilliant. And look, here's the thing, right? In the NFL, in this salary cap league, his skill set is tremendously valuable. Tremendously. When you look at teams that are 80 million, 60 million, 40 million in a hole, like the Saints and like the Bills and teams like that, when you see that, it makes you appreciate Howie Roseman's skill set. But he has his limitations. And that is on draft night. I don't want you anywhere near my defensive draft picks. I don't want you anywhere near my draft picks.
Hey, let me do this here. That Caitlin Clark, the chick getting the all-time scoring.
She's cold-blooded, man.
Am I right when what'd she have, 41?
Like 45 last night.
45 or something? Hey, am I right when I say this? Women's college hoops is more popular than WNBA?
Yes. Yes.
I've actually seen more women's hoop. I watched the LSU
They
in
get primetime
Iowa.
games now.
Okay, I watched that, one of the most televised games. I actually watched that and enjoyed myself. And I watched, I think Ohio State upset Iowa this year.
Mm.
And I watched that thing. It was in Columbus. You know, I don't believe I've ever watched a WNBA game in my life.
Listen to this, Sills. Rob was, Rob, his daughter goes to South Carolina, right?
Great program.
Right, Dawn Staley, one of the best programs in
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Listen to this. He said the tickets are unattainable. You can't get in. He said his daughter's only been to one game since going there.
Wow.
You can't get in.
And students get in for free.
They said students can't even get in. They big time down there, man. Women's college hoops. I'm telling you, that playoffs, that March Madness last year with the woman last year completely changed the game. It changed the game.
Girl from LSU,
Angel Reese.
I love her, man.
Cold, man.
Great shit talker, man.
I love it.
Hey, she's got everything I like in an athlete.
Listen, those girls play with a swagger, Sil.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in the gym sometimes, the game's be on, so I watch them.
Yeah.
These girls play with an edge.
You know what I would do if I'm this girl, Caitlin Clark? I stay in college and get a nil deal like Shakur Sanders, because I might be making more money than what I'd be making in the WNBA.
Listen, Angel Reese and is it Flo J? Angel Reese and Flo J, they're two of their best players on the team, right? I lied to you not. They asked those girls, "Are you guys going to declare for the WNBA?" And they looked at each other like, "What? I'm getting more money here." That's what they said.
How much do you think Shedeur Sanders makes right now?
18 million, 20 million in nil?
I thought I heard $14 million. Do you know that's more money he'll make than a rookie makes?
Okay, so it says here, oh wow, I'm way off. It says
no. That hasn't been added, the new ones.
Oh, okay.
Because what is it, 2.5?
Let's see here. Okay, here it is right here. I got it. So it says the top 10 highest paid college athletes. This was written November 17th in 2023. So I'm pretty sure that's going to go up. But listen to this. It says the top 10 highest paid college athletes via rookie road. Bronny James at 6.1 million. Shedeur Sanders, 3.8 million. Livy Dunn out of LSU, 3.2 million. Arch Manning, 2.9 million. He hasn't even started a game yet.
Hey, wait a minute. Shedeur just signed a contract with Rolex.
For real?
And he signed a contract with Rolls Royce. He drives a Rolls Royce. Watch this. Google this. Shedeur Sanders Rolls Royce SUV. And you tell me if you think a guy driving around a Rolls Royce SUV is making $2 million.
Damn.
He's driving that around campus.
Right,
it's a Rolls, right?
Yeah, it's a Rolls Royce. Yep. It's a Rolls Royce.
He's got a car Brady drives.
That is insane, man.
And he's got a $25,000 watch on his hand.
It says here, according to let me see here. Okay, so his nil value went up. It says according to, and this is on December 20th. According to On3, Shedeur Sanders' nil deals are currently valued at an impressive $4.8 million, making him one of the top earners in college football.
And he's driving around a Rolls Royce
on the college campus.
Rolex. That's worth $200,000.
Man, it must be nice.
So you want to go? Wait, why in the world would I go to the Arizona Cardinals?
Why would you rush?
Look at Arch Manning.
Like hasn't started a game yet.
$3 million sitting on his ass, and he's the third QB in Austin.
Right. Who's the Texas head coach?
Sarkisian.
He said, "Yeah, he has to earn it. He's not starting just to start. Like I think they asked him, was he starting this year, and they said no or something like that, right? What was it?
He's got one more year in Austin. If he don't, he's in the portal. He's in the portal, and get this, then his number will go up more because then you know what'll happen. he'll go play ball at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin.
Oh, where Eli went.
Yeah. He'll go down there, and all them good old boys will be down there going, "Hi, look at Arch Mayonin." And you can always tell we got ourselves an Ole Miss guy. Why is that, Big Sills? The mouth opens.
Oh, my goodness.
Like rednecks, man. They all look like they're from London, England or something. There's something wrong with those people from England, man. They all look alike. I don't know.
Crazy, man.
Hey, Tone. Great stuff, my friend.
Yes, sir. It's always fun, man.
I appreciate you coming on with, worthless piece of shit. I want to. Thank you, Tone. I appreciate it. All right. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.